Hello and welcome to more World War II 172 scale. This is one of the biggies. I pulled out all of my Sd.Kfz 251 standard German half tracks with all the stroke models from stroke 1 on up into 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, however far they went up with the variations. We've got Panzer Gray. We've got Desert Sand, we've got Winter White, and we've got 2 and 3 color camo on the sand. Some of these are plastic models I built. A couple were die-cast metal models, and a couple were resin, and a majority of them are die-cast, pre-made, mainly by Dragon Armor, but by some other couple of other brands. And they standard. They have an MG 42, or if it was very early, an MG 34 machine gun, and then a lot of them have other weapons, including mortars, mini tank turrets, 37 millimeter anti-tank guns, 28 millimeter anti-tank guns, the big 75 millimeter pack. The short 75 Stummel type. Oh, and some of them are the engineering kind with the little treadways they're carrying. Let's take an overview and then we'll take a look at some. And one of them has the flamethrower too. Let's take a look at the front line here. On the rockets too, the Stukas foot. The Stukas on foot. The naval warfare type rockets mounted on the half tracks. We've got some men added to some. There's 49 of them here. 4 rows of 12 plus an extra one. Some of these we've seen before where I did with the 37 millimeter mounted on it. But we haven't seen this one yet. This has a little French turret that was added. There's only a few of this type made. I took one of the pre-existing ones, found a man, attached it, and found the turret from one of my other models. Got a little tiny gun on there. They also use this as a little turret on little tiny bunkers too. Added homemade netting. You can see a man here. He's got some of the piping on there. There's the machine gun. These have been on the shelf for a while, so they'll have guns. This one's very rare. This has the rare drilling. The 3 machine guns type. Not quite 20 millimeters. I think they're like 12 to 15. It's got some gear on the side. Gear on the man in there, camouflage. He's got his binoculars. Dot camo. You see this one's on a base. This one has a mortar in there. Look at that. Very cool. Ammo. Big Balkan cruise recognition. This one has the pack gun on it, 75 millimeter and a crew. Here's one of the ones that was pre-made with that gun. This one has leapers and jumpers. I think they were by Prizer. They were hard to find, but they look really cool. So these would all be great in a diorama setting or on the war game board. This is one of the many with treadways, and it's got the little 28mm gun on it. I did a video on these guys with the rockets. This is the Stummel, the short 75mm. It was on the original Mark IV Panzer, and they used this on many other things, and it was also on the first Sturmgeschütz. There's a basic one in desert sand. Winter with some leapers and jumpers. Or desert, 37. There's some with crew. This one I liked. Put the octopus later, late war camouflage. I have King Tiger and Tiger ones that match that. Some basic ones. I think this was Forces of Valor brand. Came with the man. That one's very cool camouflage. Treadway. The man in there. Crew. Another Stummel. This one was a plastic kit and put on a base. Men. I also have some Tiger ones in this pattern, so this guy will match. This one was cool. It's got the same little 20mm and the MG42 and the little hang cavalet turret that was found on armored cars like the 222 and later on the 232. So I made that one up and then added that. They did have some like that. These were very cool. These are gray, but they started to add some sand overlay camouflage. That's another mortar. Like this one is a sand one with the mortar. This one and this one has a rotating 20mm gun in it. Very cool. They used this earlier in the war. There's another one with 37. The men in it. And this is the only one with the early shield, but it looks so cool. It's tall. They cut that way down because it was too conspicuous. So they used this type later in the war. So that's an overview of half tracks. This is the basic full-size one, the 251. They made a lot of these, but not enough compared to what they were facing with the combined forces of the British, the Americans, the Russians, and their other allies. Half tracks, I always think they're very cool. And you can see the Germans are almost like 3/4 track. Ours, the Americans, are more like half tracks, but you call them half tracks. There are all the tracks on there. And they interleaved wheels, which are a pain in the neck if they hit a mine, because they have to take more off to get to just one if that's the only thing they had to repair. All right. Hope you enjoy this. This was an overview, 172 scale German half tracks of one variety, the 251. There are many others, but this was the standard armored one, AFV. Until next time, thanks for liking and subscribing, and more World War II 172 to come. Thank you.